Hey guys, welcome in. Come and grab a drink and listen to some tales from Azeroth. Today we're going to be talking about making gold within WoW. Now there's many different types of ways that you can do this, and we're going to be going over sort of the ways, just how I make gold myself on my characters, mainly one character, how you can also do it and how many people tend to do it. Depending on like each different class. But we're going to start off nice and simple because I know how to talk about this one. It's boosting. Now it's become since not several months, I want to say a few months now. So about 4 to 5, more like 4 to 5 months over the past 4 to 5 months, it's become a lot more known within the community. Now, boosts are a service that you provide, which can be done primarily with mages, the mage class. There is a couple where you can do it with paladins, with specific builds and items. It's the same as the mage. It's the exact same as the mage AoE farm, but you're just a paladin instead, and you're getting your AoE potential out of the items and your talents and your consecration and everything like that. So a couple of the ways that I make my gold is I sell Scarlet Monastery and Marauding boosts. These are two that I've practiced a lot over the past couple of weeks myself, and I've been selling them sort of about a month to make like a bit of gold. I'm only at 1,000 gold myself. I spent like 700 of it the day that AQ got its release date because everything was going to skyrocket, so I bought a lot of mats before it had inflated in price pretty much, because I need like greater nature protection potions for raiding, stuff like that when Anchorage comes out. But I sell, the first time I ever sold a boost was when I was actually learning the boost. I did it at a discounted price because I only knew the Cathedral boost at the time from Scarlet Monastery. Now, when you're learning these boosts, you are drenched in sweat. You are terrified because you have, in Scarlet Monastery, you got about 80 odd mobs chasing you. In Marauding, you got about 150 plus mobs. And it's a terrifying prospect to sort of get right. You need to know when to do certain things. It's very terrifying to think one single mistake and you're just dead. It's a wipe, you got to restart. Now in Scarlet Monastery, that's not too bad. Graveyard's very close. You can just get back into the boost within the next like couple minutes. With Marauding though, it's a completely different story. Graveyard is 10 kilometers away, 10 miles, 10 kilometers away, whatever your measurement of distance is. And also the run itself for Marauding takes, I'd say about 15 minutes for a nice smooth run, depending on what run you're going for, but about 15 minutes on average to do the entire pull and go into the kill phase. And that's a smooth run. Imagine if it isn't, like you fall down, it adds a couple minutes, etc. So you got to sort of adjust for that. But no, that's how I make my gold. My gold comes from Marauding boost, about 8. I sell both of my boosts for 8 gold. So both Scarlet Monastery and Marauding for 8 gold. You can obviously do it at your own price. But you have other boosts such as Zul'Gurub. Zul'Gurub goes for a lot more because it is a raid. Now, I would like to learn the ZG boosting service for my mage, but it's a lot more intense because it's a lot more jumps that you have to do in terms of where you're climbing up, where you have to jump, where you're like AoE farming them. It's a bit weird and it's a bit terrifying. Plus, I'm just too lazy because everyone's got to log out and then you got to reset the instance on your role. So I'm just too lazy to log out and wait the 20 seconds, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. With regards to Zul'Gurub boosts and any other boosts, you got Maraudon and Scarlet Monastery slap bang in the middle of the levels. So you can stay in these dungeons from level 20, where you can first enter Scarlet Monastery, all the way to level 51. 51 is a very big push, by the way, but 51. So 31 levels you can be in these 2 dungeons. That's it. Like, that's maddening. That's over, like, half of your levels. That's 31 levels. It's just mad to think about. But you've got people who just do the simple, like, stockades boosts, like in Stormwind. You've got people who do probably Ragefire Chasm boosts in Orgrimmar. But it is a very effective way to make gold. On average, about every hour I will make with 5 instances. So you got a 5 instance lockout within the hour. So you can only reset the dungeons 5 times before you're locked out for the hour. 8 gold per person. So 4 times 8, 32. Then you've got 5 runs of that. So 32, 64, 96, and then, oh Christ, my maths is not what it used to be. 128. I tried to do this calculation earlier. 160 gold. There we go. 160 gold. There was probably a lot easier way to do that. That sum. Not going to lie to you. But 160 gold per hour is not too shabby. This isn't even including loot that you're getting from the mobs in itself, like the raw silver, the raw gold, and also just vendor stuff. Like vendor trash weapons, which usually go for like 60 silver, 70 silver. So it adds up. It really does add up a lot over the course of everything. I also do the same with Maraudon. And with Maraudon, I don't tend to get locked out within the hour, so I can just keep going for as long as I want. But I am scared with the like ban wave of bots that it might trigger a red alert sort of thing, and it might flag me as potentially being a bot. That's why I'm kind of terrified to keep going past that hour mark. I do need to take breaks in between. But boosting is generally the way mages make gold, and some paladins do it. You can also, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I did not mean to do that. That's just my finger clicking. But you can potentially sell boosts on any class, really. You can sell boosts just for bosses. I saw a warrior looking to sell boosts for Scarlet Monastery bosses, for the quest, etc. And just for the loot in general to disenchant. So there's many different ways that you can do boosts itself, but primarily it is a mage and a little bit of a paladin speciality for the most part. Now, another method of making gold is something called playing the auction house. This is something that I've always been intrigued in learning, but I've never actually just given it the time to sort of learn myself. Now, playing the auction house is essentially you look for something cheap on the auction house to sell on. That's it. So you buy something cheap, you sell it on for a bit of a profit. Now, this can be this can introduce some profession or a profession, which is enchanting. And what people usually do is they will buy a green item that can potentially disenchant into a item that is used for a very good enchant, and that you get can go for over double the price of the actual just green item itself, which is really mad to say the least. Playing the auction house can just be as well selling greens, buying, selling greens, stuff like that. It's nothing too simple or nothing too tough to get the hang of, I would have thought. It's just having a good eye on stuff that could sell a lot more. If you just give me a second, guys. Okay, really sorry about that. My throat's just a bit dry. I went to work a few hours prior to doing this, and where I work I have to interact with a lot of people, so yeah, it's a bit dry, and it's not quite what it was last week when I was recording this, when I had the entire day off. But let's get back to it. So yeah, playing the auction house is it's something to do if you've got nothing to do. It's the way I kind of view it. It wouldn't be my personal favourite way of getting gold, because you just sat in an auction house in a major city doing nothing apart from looking at auctions, and that just is not fun for me personally. But some people get a really good kick out of it, and by all means, if you're one of them people, then feel free. Like, hey, I just throw my stuff up on auction house. I don't check if it's better, worse than anything else. I just undercut people, and that's it. That's where I draw the line. If I get undercut, I get undercut. I'll just throw it up again within the next few hours. It's no big deal to me. But there is one that I do want to talk about, and it's kind of a method of earning gold, but it kind of isn't. It's gambling. Now, gambling within WoW is TOS, I believe, but you can technically do it in the form of death rolls. Now, death rolls at your own will of it, or at your own whim. It's one of them sayings, I swear. But it's on you if you lose or win. That's it. So, death rolling essentially is that you place your bet against someone and you roll for it. And you type /roll 1,000. So say I roll a 880. The next person who I'm rolling against will type /roll 880. And it will roll a number between 1 and 880. So it keeps going down no matter what. And the first person to hit the number 1 loses the death roll. And then they pay up. Now, if you're feeling lucky, this can be very, very, very profitable. Just saying. But if you're like me and have no luck, I have literally lost several hundred gold in one sitting of just death rolling. And it is not fun. I can tell you that much. It is not fun, to say the least. Gambling with death rolls, do it at your own, at your own will. Own will? Doesn't sound right, does it? Do it at your own risk. There you go. There's the words. Again, I'm not quite here at the moment. I'm still not quite here. I just finished work a couple hours ago, so I'm still kind of coming down from that. But yeah, gambling isn't the most productive way and surefire way of getting gold, but it is sadly a method that you can use if you're feeling lucky. If you are definitely feeling lucky, I might add. But a big one, going on to the next one, a very big way of making gold is professions. Now, with professions, you have many different ones. You've got the gathering professions, which is mining, herbalism, skinning. Don't believe there's any others. Might have missed some out. Have I missed any out? No, it's just them 3. And then you've got the actual crafting professions, which is the leatherworking, enchanting, engineering, my mind's drawn a blank, tailoring. Pretty sure there's one more. Sorry about that. Why is that not on mute? There we go. But you have a few different types of them professions. Now, some are a lot more profitable than others. The gathering professions, there's skinning is probably the least profitable out of all of the gathering professions. Skinning, you get a very constant income of leather. Leather will always sell. If you put it on the auction house, it's just killing the right mobs in order to get that leather. On Goro Crater, where all of the big dinos are the most favorited places, because you can kill the big devil saws and get devil saw level, which crafts your best in slot for many melees, so rogues, hunters, stuff like that. But with herbalism, herbs go really well in terms of value. I think on my server currently, herbs are going for about, since the release or the release date of AQ, they're going for about 30 gold per stack of Dreamfoil, because Dreamfoil is what you need to make the greater nature protection potions and stuff. So they do tend to fluctuate up and down in price. Fluctuate? Might be the word. Not too sure. But yeah, they do really differ in price. And then you obviously have the very sought after Black Lotus herb. Now this herb on my server again goes for about 100 gold. This is after the nerf to the timers of the Black Lotus. So they nerfed the timer recently on the Black Lotus spawn. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something like 15 to 45 minutes. Like one can spawn, like in that time period since the last one's been picked, whereas it was a 45-minute to a 1 hour 15 timer. And there's, I believe, 2 in like each place now or something, like in each zone that can spawn instead of just the one. That one I might have just made up on the spot, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that. But yeah, Black Lotus, huge payout if you find one, but you usually have people constantly looking around for it, constantly going around these zones that can spawn the Lotus itself. But that's also the same case with mining. So with mining, you have the very top mining vein, which is a rich thorium vein. Now, a rich thorium vein gives thorium ore, dense stone, and it has a small chance to produce a arcane crystal. Now, this arcane crystal is a 2% drop chance, but it goes for about 90 gold on my server currently. And the arcane crystals are used in many things. It's used in engineering, or not engineering like per se. So you need something from another profession which uses the arcane crystal to use in engineering. So it's used in engineering technically, but technically not at the same time, if that makes any sense. But you use arcane crystals in a lot of stuff. Mainly alchemy for transmutes, but arcane crystals are also used in legendary weapons. Thunder Fury, you need arcane crystals because you need to transmute the arcane crystal into an arcanite bar. And you need about, God, I think it's about 50 for Thunder Fury. It's something ridiculous like that. But these arcane crystals have a huge payout for mining and anyone who does have the skill of mining. But looking at the crafting professions, you have enchanting, which is always good. But most of these professions are service-based. By that I mean you are selling the service that you're given. So if you're selling a very rare enchant, then it's likely that you would receive a tip from the person buying the service from you. So on my server, like +4 stats is a very rare enchant that you get on your chest piece. It's +4 stats to everything. This is intellect, stamina, spirit, absolutely everything. But the recipe drop for it is very low. And this enchanter is obviously farmed like that enchanting recipe. So it's that time that they've put in that you're sort of paying, because not everyone has that enchant. They can just straight up refuse you if you don't pay them, because what's in it for them, really? And yeah, like there's just many different ways in which you can sell the service. So you can sell the service in terms of like, I will get the mats for you and make it, and therefore you're paying for my time that I've put into getting the mats as well as the mat costs itself, or if you farmed the mats like yourself, if that makes sense. Or you can just buy the mats and then tip the person who's giving you the enchant to say, as like a thank you to that person for having the enchant and doing this like almost favour for you in a way. But enchanting is one of the better ones for getting that service, like tip. Leatherworking is all right. I imagine the only thing leatherworkers do in terms of getting a tip is devil saw, like making devil saw sets. So the hands and the legs, I believe it is. I believe there's no other part to the set. You can also, I'm not so sure there's much to do with leatherworking, to be honest. I'm not very accustomed to leatherworking or any like other ones, really. Tailoring is a big one because you can make the bags, you can make soul pouches, you can make many different things, but you can also make best in slot items for yourself or your class if you are, possibly. These classes are priest and mage. You got your true faith. Oh my god, I couldn't say that right. Truth, faith, vestments for the priest, and you got no, I forgot it. I literally have it on my character. Robes of the Archmage. There we go. You can have Robes of the Archmage for your priest and these, or for your mage. And obviously these are patterns that you have to farm, etc. So people can't give you that service. It's got to be on you for that. But you generally give a tip to a tailor for making you a bag or a soul pouch, something like that, something simple like that. Other sort of professions are, you know what, I keep drawing a blank on the professions because all I do is have like engineering and mining, and these aren't professions. You know what, I just said another profession there, engineering. It's the one that I have. Engineering is not profitable. I'm putting that out there right now. I'm saying that so that no one who wants to earn gold picks up this profession. Engineering is not profitable in the slightest. It will drain you of gold because of the amount of stuff that it requires to make stuff. If, like, I spend about 50 gold, I'd say. 50 gold on each individual item that I just want to make. So a goblin rocket helmet, which incapacitates someone for 30 seconds. I need a prerequisite helmet in order to use it as a material to make that helmet. And to make that prerequisite helmet is about 15, 20 gold. And then the other mats to make the goblin rocket helmet is another 30 gold on top. It is a gold sink. You will go bankrupt if you have no other method of getting gold. Trust me, engineering is not what you want if you're going for gold. It's very good for trinkets though. Very good for trinkets. You got Shadow Reflector, Ice Reflector. You have the Netomatic, you have the Gnomish Shrink Ray, Gnomish Death Ray. You've got many different trinkets that you can utilise. And they're just very fun. It's very PvP orientated engineering, to say the least. Yeah, with regards to engineering, it is just very draining. I did have a point that I wanted to bring up, but I couldn't quite remember it. No, it's gone. It's just completely gone. But many different professions have many different benefits and downsides to them. Some are more gold potential, some are no gold potential with engineering. But there's many different ways that you can make gold within WoW. It literally can be as simple as, if you just want to go and kill mobs, like NPCs, go and do that. I actually did that once. I just parked my character outside of Tyr's Hand, and this is where the elite mobs for the Scarlet Crusade are. This is in the bottom right of Eastern? North, South, East, West? Yes. Eastern Plaguelands. And it's just elite mobs. They hold about 7 silver each. They can give some rune cloth. They obviously can give world drops if it happens. But there's also a couple rich thorium veins that can spawn around me. So I have the potential for arcane crystals. But just doing that alone, just sitting there grinding mobs for about an hour, gives me about 20 gold. And that's just from raw gold itself. So it wasn't anything too challenging. It's just something if you want to be, I don't know, something if you're eating and just doing on the side whilst watching YouTube, something like that. The point is, there is many, many different ways to make gold. I mean, I've seen people in my realm who offer a taxi service, believe it or not. And this taxi service is Booty Bay, Felwood. Felwood's a strange one. I'm really not too sure why Felwood, but it's a very strange one. Felwood and the Plaguelands, I believe. Now, he just has 3 characters parked in these locations. So 1 warlock and then 2 clickers, as I call them. But if you want to buy a summon, I've actually bought one off of him before. But he charges 5 gold. So he summons you, you pay him 5 gold, and that's it. It's just that simple. And it takes about a minute, less than a minute to do. He'll just invite you, log on to the characters that he needs to go on, summon, you pay him, you're done. That's it. Business done, transaction done. Have your 5 gold, thank you for the summon. Very good service, to be honest. But many different ways to make gold in WoW. These aren't the only options. But these are just some of the ones that were probably the best way to make gold at the moment. Certainly the boosting at the moment. The boosting is really good because of the 30 instance lockout. And with regards to the 30 instance lockout, you get 30 instances that you can enter within 24-hour period. And if you hit the 30, you can't go in any more instances. It's that simple. But if you hit that 30 cap, you're kind of red flagged as a bot, so I'd be very careful if you are doing that and boosting. But no, no matter what, as long as you're having fun within the game, you're always going to be making gold, no matter what you do, apart from if it's Battlegrounds. Even then you can make, a few silver from removing the insignias of Horde or Alliance, whichever faction you're on. But no, as long as you're having fun within the game, you will always be gaining some sort of currency in terms of gold, no matter what. But thank you very much for joining me this week, guys. It's sorry, my voice might seem a bit different. My throat is a bit dried out from just before work. But again, thank you very much for listening in, and I hope to see you all in the next one next week. Thank you all. Goodbye.